the second transformation that we're going to talk about, and this one is different than translation because the figure, this is dilation, the figure will enlarge or reduce in size. So in other words, it's going to get bigger or it's going to get smaller. And the figure is always going to stay the same shape. If there's a triangle, it'll stay a triangle. But it's not a rigid transformation. So it's not like the translation where it was going to be the same size everywhere it was. This will be a different size. So we're going to use what's called a scale factor. And that's going to indicate how large or small the figure becomes. So throughout your homework and on your test, that the variable for the scale factor is going to be k. So that's what we multiply our points by to see what size they'll be. So if k is bigger than 1, the figure gets bigger in size. So if we have 2, 3, we multiply our points by that, it's going to be a bigger figure than the pre-image. And then if k is less than 1, the figure is going to reduce in size. So those are right here. So if it's less than 1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.5, it's going to get smaller. And so the center of dilation that will always go back to is going to be the origin. So the origin is 0, 0. I'll just write that. And the center of dilation is always going to be that. Okay, and so now we're going to take a look at a practice problem. So I'm going to draw again the triangle, which is going to be so here's R, and then here's S and T. So when we see that the scale factor for this one is 2, so I'm going to multiply my points by 2. So if we have R, when we look at R prime, R to R prime, I'm going to do 2 times the point -5, 1. So I will have 2 times -5, which is -10, comma 1 times 2, which is 2. So that's going to be my point for R prime, -10, 2. And you're going to do the same thing for S to S prime. That's going to be 2, which is our scale factor, times -3, which is going to get us -6, 8. And then for T, we'll do the same thing. We have the point 2, -1, and then I'm going to multiply that by 2, and that's going to get 4, -2. So I'm going to get a different, I'll draw this one. I'll use pink. And I'm going to go to -10, -10, 2, which is right here. And that's going to be R prime. Then the next one is -6, 8, 8, and that's S prime. And then 4, -2, which is T prime. So then when I connect these are probably supposed to be. We see that they're the same shape, but they're different sizes. So since K was greater than 1, it was an enlargement, which means that the image R prime, S prime, T prime is bigger than triangle RST. So we multiplied each point by 2 because that was our scale factor to get this new triangle, which is the same shape as the original. So I will do one more example. So this one, since it's less than 1, it will be smaller. So if we look at the points, we'll do 1/2 for J to find J prime times -10, 2. And so half of -10 is -5. And then we'll have 1. And then, so that's J1. And then if we look at K to K prime, it'll be 1/2 of -2, 8, which will be -1, 4. Then we'll have L to L prime, and that's 1/2 times 6, 2. So that will be 3, 1. And then the last one will be -1, -2. So when I draw this won't be to scale, but the rhombus would look like this. And then the new image will be half the size. So probably look like that, that's not to scale, but that's just of what it would be. And the image on the inside will be our new one. So if you want another example, you can try this one on your own, doing the same format that we did for these. So you would multiply the scale factor times the point to get the new image. So now if we have to identify the scale factor for an image, we'll look at this one and we would pick one point. We'll look at E. So the point E is 6, 0. And then E prime is 2, 0. So we would want to know, if we look at, this will be our pre-image since it doesn't have a prime. And the first one for the number is 6. And we're going to divide, we want to know what multiply 6 times what is going to get us 2. So we can write an equation, 6 to find our scale factor, which is K. 6K equals 2, because that's our new X value. So we would have K equals 2 over 6, and we can simplify that to equal 1/3. And to double check to see if this makes sense, we can see that the pre-image is triangle DEF, and that is bigger. So the image gets smaller, which will, so that would make sense that K would be less than 1. So you can look at one point to figure out identify the scale factor for this one. And so I'm going to do the same for this. We'll look at one point, and I'm going to look at W and W prime. So our pre-image is W, and that point is -2, 2. And our new point for our new figure is negative 10, 10. So if we look at the scale factor, we want to see what negative 2 times what, our scale factor, k, is going to equal 10. So we'll set up an equation, negative 2k equals negative 10. We'll divide both sides by negative 2. And then we have k equals 5. And that's how we find our scale factor when we're given two figures. So we see that our pre-image is small, and then it gets bigger. So we know that k would need to be greater than 1. Thanks for tuning in. Good. You'll have a Desmos assignment next, and there will be a video at the very beginning briefly overviewing what you will have to do and the different things that you're going to learn. Good luck. Have fun.